Okay, so once again I'm dressed in my three-piece suit, and I'm in the studio. I don't know if that's even on the screen. Yeah, I guess it is. I'm not playing with that right now. What I'm doing is I'm just going to show you my plein air outfit. It hasn't been used for years, so excuse the dust and cobwebs, and probably when I open this box, rats will run out and spiders and what have you. So if you're a little arachnophobic, just be prepared. My camera's just sitting kind of low, isn't it? Or my view. Let me just see if I can set this up a little better. I hate having to duck every time I'm going to look into the camera. There, that's a little better anyway. Now, I've seen a lot of different setups for plein air painting on different videos. My daughter owns one. We bought one for her years ago. Maybe one day she'll make good use of it. Well, she has used it in the past already, but it's not my favorite sort of way of doing things. So what I have is I made this little box, scrap plywood kicking around, and I built, I put this very expensive cord on here. This cord alone was probably $800. What I have here is a toothbrush holder on the edge. That's where I keep my brushes. Inside, I'll use a very expensive latch as well. An Ardox 3.5-inch construction nail. A couple of hinges, a bunch of saw cuts. Inside, you can see that okay. And some reasonably accurate measuring between them. No, it's no piece of furniture, that's for sure. But I built this so that I could, when I go camping, I could make as many as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, 10 panels. And store them in here once they were painted and bring them home safely, because they slide into these grooves. Let me just grab a few of the tinted ones that I have. They slide into these grooves and they are stored safely. Yes, the very edges are smeared a little bit. Not worried about it, because there's really less than 1/8 of an inch on each end. So I can store them in there before I'm using them. Once they're painted, there's enough clearance between them that will not be a problem. Again, I'll just get closer for you. Okay. Now, under here to the bottom, when I'm going painting, I can store a bit of masking tape. I can store sideways a roll of toilet paper. I can take some charcoal in there. I can take a few other things that I need. This is not a backpacker setup. This is really designed for a few days painting and storage. When I'm done painting, I can take, and I usually use one panel as a palette. I have an 8x10-inch palette kicking around here somewhere, and when I store it overnight, if I'm staying several nights, or on my way home, I'll leave that right down at the bottom, very clear from everything else. And then from here up, I can put the 10 panels in. Okay, one-handed mischievous here. Mischievousness. And that one panel that I will use as my palette sits right there. usually turn this around and aim it at myself in case I need to get something out of there. But so I put my paints on here, my brushes are here. I will only carry, I keep it simple, you know, I don't take a full complement of colors with me. So I'll only have probably 2 brushes, maybe one will be likely a number 2 flat and likely a number 4 flat and a number 6 or 8 flat. And those two can sit in here. I clean my brushes daily. I don't store them, you know, bristled down in any kind of solvent or cleaner. It does too much harm to them because the weight of the brush stem pushing down on those bristles does damage them. So I'll clean them, turn them upside down, set them in here, and they're well protected when I leave them in there overnight. Okay, so there's that. You know what? I'm going to be using this paint box hopefully soon. So let me just put that back in there. I'll be finding my own palette and putting it in there sooner or later. Okay, close this little simple thing. Oh, simple. And don't forget my toothbrush holder here. It's $700 toothbrush. You have to have good stuff, right? This is $20,000. You know. So there's that. Sorry, I'm making a little bit of fun at some folks who spend the world on their equipment and maybe not enough time on developing their abilities. Or going plein air painting, which I'm guilty of too. Okay, so that's my little table. I usually will take extra rolls of toilet paper. I'll take a bottle of paint thinner, turpentine or what have you. There are some other things that I take, and I'll put this in a larger milk crate that I have, along with whatever else I need. You know, I don't go hiking with it. As I mentioned, I can throw this over my shoulder and carry the rest. That's fine, but I don't do much walking into the woods or, you know, looking too far off track. If I want to go investigate something, I'll just take a camera and walk out there. So, my easel. This is just one of these. It's made in the good old US of A, and that's probably why it works so well. I'm sure that any of you who have been doing any painting at all are familiar with this easel. It's fantastic. I love this thing. I love it more than anything else I've come across so far. And that is because I could sit on the side of a hill with one leg way out, and on the back side there might be a bit of a rock or something, so I need to keep it a little higher. And it might sit on, you know, I might be sitting right next to a boulder here. So it's you know, you can adjust these things. I'm not that fond of the legs that you loosen the nut and they have to swivel out or slide down. Well, here's the point: they have to be adjustable, because when you're out plein air painting, you can be in all kinds of terrain. For me, it's often trails and some rock, you know, maybe near maybe on a shoreline or something. So that's why I need to have that availability of stance, you know, or the availability of stance adjustment. So here, let me just show you this quickly in case you're not familiar with these. I like these little adjustments. Nothing to it. Unscrew it, slide it up or down. And then it has these little hooks. You can put your panel on there. Works perfectly. If it's windy out, because it's a very light easel, and you have a little, you know, your painting is often a kite. Now I typically use 8x10 panels, but I have used it with a canvas, and you can put a 24-36 on here if you want to, but it's probably going to blow away. So you can put a heavy stone right in the center of the tripod. That keeps it anchored well. Very versatile, very simple, probably one of the cheapest things out there, and at the same time, simplicity is best. Most functional. So what I'll do beyond that is I will take my panel out of my little box. And set it to where I want it. It's a little high for me right now. And then the masking tape, in case you're wondering why I take it with me when I plein air, is to do something quick and easy, and because it's only temporary security, you don't need anything fancy, just a bit of masking tape. There. That stays perfectly. Not a problem with that. Then I can sit here with my little setup. Pull a chair up. Pull out a brush or two. Mix my colors. I will, even on an 8x10 palette, which is what I'll use, I'll leave room for my tuna can. My tuna can with turpentine. Because I'm not carrying a huge palette with me, I don't need a whole lot of color. I don't plan on doing more than one panel at a time. Often it's happened where I've done 2, and in the past even 3 in a day. But it rarely happens. So that's enough room for me to mix what I need to. I still have my terps to clean my brush, to thin off the paint when I stain the panel, if I'm going to do that, and I usually do. And even to thin the paint a little bit if you want to. I don't take linseed oil, or I don't take any mediums to thin my paint. Typically when I do plein air, I want it to look very painterly, and that means paint straight out of the tube, for the most part. So this, sorry I keep squinting at the camera making sure I'm in frame. So I love this setup. Yes, it's not as tiny, it's not as small as many of the well-engineered, but often not very well built field easels you can buy. Because if I'm going to go plein air painting, I only do it the odd time. I have actually in the past done more camping and taken this with me as camping equipment, knowing that I will be maybe 2 or 3 days. If so, I will be coming back with several paintings. And then this box fits them and protects them very well. You know, it even keeps the spit of rain off them, sort of thing. That's just me. Everybody does things differently. But I wanted to show you this because that's my setup. It's been my setup forever. I have another one of these easels. The other one I've pretty much worn out. I just keep it for spare parts at this point. Yeah, just friction fit washers in here. I think there's nylon washers in there that tighten up against this lower leg to keep it from sliding. But you can make adjustments to 1/8 of an inch if you want to. I love the adjustability, and it's sort of right on the cusp of being. It's on the cusp of being too weak, but it's not. It'll still hold, as I said, a 24-36 canvas if you want it to. But keeping it light is so important when you're plein air painting. But still capable. Anyway, because I keep it simple, life is simple, and that just makes me a lot happier. I don't want I don't want liquid, I don't want linseed oil, I don't want or need those things for the studies, because that's my aim. When I plein air, they are studies. I might take them back to the studio if I'm really pleased with them and turn them into finished paintings. I do, honestly, I do that most of the time. But that's fine. I can do that in the studio when I get back home at a later date. Is there anything else about this? Not really, There's my package. And of course, as I said, a milk crate that carries this and some paint thinner and some extra toilet paper or paper towel or whatever you're going to use for cleanup. A couple of brushes, because I really don't need a whole fistful of brushes. I just use 2. That's all I can really think of. I was hoping maybe to go out today, and actually the weather was not bad, but I have still stuff to do in the yard, so that comes first. Anyway, I guess that's it. We'll hope I didn't bore you to death, and we'll talk to you soon.